We're live?
Yeah.
Cool. Spike the audio. Manchar gets really annoyed when I do that because I actually do it for no reason. I want the mic to come in a little bit. Right.
I'm right on it.
The Fantasy Football Show.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 18 of the Planet FPL 30 in 30. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
And today we have a very special guest coming onto the show who hasn't joined us yet. We thought we'd start recording beforehand. James is cracking open a beer because we are 5 podcasts in today. We've been working our little nuts off. How you feeling, James?
Oh, I've earned this beer. I've got the biggest
got
bottle in the
and
world.
You've got a Stella.
I also banned myself from Stella from about 19 onwards.
19 years
nothing
old.
to do
I thought you were about to say a year.
Nothing
19,
to do with hitting women. I've never done that. Your Guinness is going to fly everywhere and you're wearing a white t-shirt.
Nah, it's cool. It's chilling. So we're on episode 18, but we've recorded up to like episode 23, more than halfway through. This has been really hard work, which, yeah, don't deny, but one of the most enjoyable things we've done. I don't know how we did 135 episodes without getting a guest on in the past. Or why. I suppose I know what we did. It's hard. It's coordinating everyone's schedules and stuff. But it's been really interesting to find out and speak to other FPL players on the show and talk about their clubs and all that kind of stuff, right?
Blinding. Like every single one has been enjoyable, and a lot of the feedback from the community is like all these guys are bringing something different to the table.
Yeah, they are. You're right.
And the 4 we've already recorded today, which will be 19 through to 22, exactly the same again.
Exactly.
All
Time's flown by, man.
Different. Great day we've had so far.
Yeah, what we've got coming up in this episode, I guess I don't want to announce him. I wanted to announce himself when he does come on board.
The whole
it's be
community
really
knows who it is now.
Oh, how?
Yeah, because he fucking spoiled it, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Let's ask him when he comes on the show. Before we do, transfer talk. West Ham signed a player today.
Oh, well done.
Yes.
Although that's 3 days ago.
Was it announced 3 days ago?
Well, this is Tuesday in
podcast. Yeah, right. Okay, fair play. Pablo for nails. 4 nails. 4 nails.
It's got 4
on
nails.
5 fingers or something. I don't know.
It sounds like probably the score you'll have on the opening day.
Oh, 0-4 will be the score.
Four-
on the opening day. 0-4 rather than 4 nails. £24 million for a 23-year-old from Spain. Whilst he's got a couple of caps, I don't think it was great to see West Ham reinforcing in a position of the park where we've already got 5 or 6 options to go.
That's the West Ham way.
That was confusing for me. And also, whilst he's a talent like Guillaume Balaguer, who talks about Spanish football and European football a lot, is no idiot. He understands. Ding dong, and who is here with us? We've got to wait till it comes up on screen.
Keep talking about 4 nails.
Pablo 4 nails, 16 goals in his 4 professional seasons. Not spectacular.
I'm waiting for Tom and Nick's prospecting the prospectus, which is probably not going to make him out to be a talent. But he is a very good footballer.
I retweeted it earlier today. They've already written it. Yeah. They're
Literally
already
don't fuck about them two.
No,
do
they do not.
I think they write articles on the pretense and hope that someone's going to sign.
Yeah,
I think they wrote Daniel James about 3 weeks ago.
They gave him a rating of 2.5 out of 5.
Oh,
it's a very unscientific. I love the ding dong. Who's here?
Hey!
We have none other than Andy. Let's talk _FPL. How are you, sir?
I'm good, lads. How are you?
Yeah, really good. We thought we'd try something different. Start talking shit about football and have you join us as a guest, ding donging in. You know the way Zoom ding dongs. I thought would be pretty. It feels like Noel's house party or something where someone ding dongs and they arrive.
It's far from Mr. Blobby. How much weight have you lost lately, mate?
Coming on to 7 stone now.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah. It's a bit far away. The beer I'm drinking right now is not going to help. But
cheers. We just cracked open a Guinness and a Stella on our side.
Slancher.
That's actually why I was late, because I had Heineken in the fridge and I hate Heineken, so I had to pop down for some Peroni.
The question is, if you hate Heineken, why was it in your fridge?
Mrs. loves it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for joining us. And to be honest, this has been brewing in the pipeline for a while. And it was one of the podcasts that I'm really looking forward to because we'd like to have some fun with our guests. And we put out to get some Twitter questions for this show. Some of them are a little bit cool and interesting and quirky.
Some of them are shit.
Some of them were very weird.
For the
Welcome to Planet FPL, Andy.
yeah, true. There's probably of the thousands of people that listen, one who may not have come across you. Do you want to give them the 2-minute review on Let's Talk FPL and what kind of content you've been producing, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I basically do YouTube stuff mainly, and obviously, like a lot of people, just hang around on Twitter for too much time every day. But yeah, I basically I do a couple of streams a week just when the game week finishes and just before it starts. Obviously, like everyone, have to mix it up a bit if it's a short turnaround. And then just do a shorter video because not everyone likes the streams. Not everyone wants to tune in, listen to the same questions kind of repeated over and over again. So do a bit of short form as well. But yeah, all on YouTube, no podcast or anything like that. Otherwise, just hanging about on Twitter. Been doing that for 2 full seasons, and then I started kind of midway through 3 seasons ago. So I've been doing it a little while now.
Yeah, I listened back to the Three Amigos Getting to Know You, and I think if anyone that wants to listen back to that, it's a good listen, and there's no point in us doing the copy C, control V, copy paste of that. But you've been playing FPL for a long time.
Yeah, I think this is my 10th season now, coming into my 10th season. I think I've finished 9. So yeah, it's been playing it for God, it's kind of sad now I think of it like this, like a third of my life, I guess. I've been worrying about which player to captain every week. So yeah, 10 years coming on to.
Do you think this year was the toughest so far?
I don't really think it was much different. Obviously, it's getting tougher because there's so many podcasts, there's so many videos. You know, everyone talks about it. There's so many articles. Everyone's on Twitter. You can get all the info you want. I don't really know what was more difficult than any other season. You just pick the best players, pick the best captain, and hope you get it right.
The reason I think it was, I would have said the reason I think it was more difficult is the competition's harder because, like you said, there's more information. There's way more players than there ever has been before playing the actual game. So obviously that makes a big difference. I think the pricing now means you've got to be looking at some of the lower clubs because some of the premiums are getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And all of those things combined, suddenly it's like. It feels like this season more than any other, it was like real marginal decisions this way and that way ended up hurting people really badly. And then the top 4 clubs playing for the top 4, like completely going to shit in the last 6-7 game weeks didn't help either.
I mean, I actually like the pricing these days. I think it does make it harder. I think the last 2 seasons, with maybe a couple of players they haven't done, but I think they've pretty much nailed the pricing. Obviously, you can't predict someone like Jimenez going the whole season getting points every week and only having to pay 5.5. But that's the beauty of FPL. If you got on him early, you're laughing. If you didn't, you're not. And yeah, I think for them, there was Ozil, I think, was still like 9 or 9.5 last year. I think he could probably do with coming down a little bit. But
I think Arsenal would sell him for 9 million the way they're at
£9.50.
£9.50, they'll sell that guy. He can go, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I really, I mean, by definition, I guess it's got harder. When I started playing, there's probably about 2.5, 3 million players.
Yeah.
Now there's double that. So if you're still trying to get into the top 10K, that is, there's twice as many.
Real effort.
It's tough, yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's everyone in Norway's in the top 10. Okay.
They're great. I don't know if I saw something like there's a uni course or something now to do with it. I don't know if that was true or like.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah.
I don't know if it's strictly FPL, but it's something to do with fantasy.
Football stats, quite possibly. We could be professors on that, mate.
Imagine that.
Can you imagine?
Mum and Dad, I'm off to uni. Can you pay my fees? What are you studying fantasy football? Class.
Right, you never know.
Do you know Donald Trump gets a lot of abuse about Trump University that he started, which ended up just being one big scam. I reckon we could start our own university. 2 campuses, one in Galway, one in London.
Me and you will be running the seminars somehow.
No, we could.
Yeah.
It basically, the syllabus comes out and it just says, watch Let's Talk FPL and listen to Planet FPL pod, and that's it. That's all you need to do to get your degree in FPL.
30 grand, job done.
Yeah.
Easy. I was expecting a great big backdrop, Andy, of Old Trafford in the backgrounds.
No, I don't. I haven't quite figured out how to do that on someone else's podcast yet, or join another.
You're not live streaming from Old Trafford next season, then, no?
No, I've got a different backdrop in mind, which I might show you guys afterwards. But everyone else will have to wait till the stream start. But yeah, I've got the green screen.
He made it sound dirty.
Yeah. Sounds dodgy. Yeah. Can you imagine? I'm going to start recording my FPL podcast from my bedroom now.
Yeah.
It's too dodgy.
Yeah, not quite as fancy as Old Trafford, unfortunately.
No.
Andy, one of the reasons you're on is because of a tweet that went out about 4 months ago, and because the whole fucking community has demanded that you come on this podcast. So, as promised, we've made it happen. About 2:00 in the morning one night, I was about to go to bed, and you, sir, tweeted out that you were going to start a stream. I wasn't going to stay up and watch it, but I did grab hold of it and go, I thought we worked hard. This guy's doing a stream at 2:00 in the morning. What's happening?
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I wake up to tweets like this from yourself. Hashtag get me a McDonald's whilst also getting me on FPL Planet podcast. Unfortunately, you deleted that stream, so I've never seen it. But in fairness, you did say when you recorded it, you were going to delete it. But the responses to that lead me to want to seriously fucking ask what happened.
The reason I deleted it, I think everyone thinks like I'm just really worried about people seeing it. The reason I deleted it is because it had loads of copyright content on. And if I leave that up, then my channel will just get struck and it's just not good to have up. So I had to get rid of it. And I said that when I was streaming, I said, because I was playing music basically, copyrighted music. So I do play music when I stream, but it's all copyright free, so you can get away with it. But as soon as you start putting on proper music or whatever, you're kind of screwed. It'll get pulled really quick. But yeah, I don't tend to drink that often, but when I drink, I like to drink.
Yeah, so, you moved to Ireland, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of part of the territory. And you don't like to drink,
yeah?
Yeah, I not that I don't like to. I just don't drink that often. But when I do, like, I can't just have a couple of beers. I have to have like 7, 8, 9, 10 or however many it may be. So I'd had quite a few. And then my missus, we were just drinking at home. She decided she was going to go to bed. It was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I quite like Disaronno. So I cracked open a bottle of Disaronno.
Yeah.
And let's just, before I went to bed, that whole bottle was gone. And I only started drinking it at like 11 o'clock. And like, so basically it started off talking about, I mean, I couldn't even tell you most of the stuff we chatted about. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We started talking about FPL stuff. I think the reason I tweeted you is because someone asked me what pods I listened to.
Yeah.
I think that's why you were mentioned that I sent out a tweet. And then it just turned into basically singing along to music and people requesting what songs they wanted to play. And that kind of went on to about 5 or 6 a.m. and my missus said, could you kind of turn it down a bit?
What did you open after the bottle of Disaronno? That's what I want to know.
No, I went back to beer then. And I mean, that's, at 5 o'clock in the morning, that is just a bad idea. So yeah, it was, people that saw it, they saw it. I know some people have got GIFs they've made out of it. I expect a few people recorded it.
Oh, I've not seen them.
Yeah, I haven't seen those either. You need to tag us in some retweets. One guy tweeted to me. I
don't know if he's still around. He's not very active on Twitter, so hopefully that'll stay away. But it was a bit of this, I think. A bit of this, but
yeah.
I had a bit more alcohol in my system at the
Andy,
time.
Everybody who responded to that tweet that you sent at 3:34 a.m. that night, they're going to get a link to this podcast, mate, asking for a fucking GIF. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's as bad as I thought it was the next day. The next day I was like, oh my God. Like in Ireland, they call it the fear, worrying about what happened the night before.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of the fear, but I don't think it was that bad. Like I didn't, I was just drunk having a good time listening to some music. Unfortunately, decided to sing along to it. That was the big problem for me. bit of Enrique Iglesias Hero, that kind of thing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You can be my hero, baby.
Oh, here we go. The net outcome of it is that we're sitting here today anyway, which is what we want. We've been talking to all of our correspondents who write for us about different clubs and what have you, about their teams, but we have been really doing it in the dark because we have no prices. We do have fixtures now, but we've got no prices and the game isn't open. And also the transfer window, it hasn't really kicked into full force yet. It's still early days. We just started talking about West Ham signing Pablo Fornals, but that's not really an FPL consideration at the moment. So yeah, it's still very early to be actually really getting into the nitty gritty of the game from my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, you can't I've obviously taken an interest in it. I've looked at the fixtures and stuff. I've got an idea of the core players I'd like.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't start making your teams just yet. I mean, prices. Everyone's saying I'm going to double up on Liverpool defence. well, they're £7.5, £8 million. You might want to think again. Yes, they might be good value, but everyone gets attracted to the big strikers or the big midfielders. So yeah, you can't really put too much on paper. But it's still, if you're into it, no harm in having a think and kind of going through a few possibilities for sure. I mean, like I said, I've got a few people in mind, I guess, but probably the same as everyone else. And then really it's it's not obviously not how everyone knows Salah, Sterling are going to smash it again, Mane, etc. It's the little guys, I suppose, are the ones you need to worry about when it comes to trying to find that Jimenez and Doherty again, because you'd imagine they'll be priced out of our team straight away.
Yeah, man. The one thing I find most annoying with the game is the way that everything gravitates towards everyone having a templated team where we're all having 8 or 9 or 10 of the same players. I don't know how you avoid that other than pricing being one of the ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
The higher the pricing on the premiums, because you can't have no premiums, but making if you broke down the pricing on all the players into 3 tiers, like top premium, your second level, and then your budgets, but make the gaps between them reasonably large, then you have to make a strategic choice. Do I go 1 premium, 2 budget, or 2 mid-tier and 1 budget, or that kind of thing? I think pricing's the best way to
we make all these
avoid
choices.
template.
We make all these choices anyway, no?
Yeah, but there was a lot of template stuff.
I've said I would have no problem like Salah being 14 and Alexander-Arnold being 9. Like,
We've come up with next season's template already, Andy, for defence anyway. It's called Lard.
Luca Dean,
Laporte, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson and Dean. There's your Lard. Yeah. Nice big slab of it.
Yeah, I can see it. People are already talking about it. I mean, people have been talking about that since game week 38. So, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, again, price for the Liverpool boys is going to be tricky. And I think, like, every season, no matter even if we come off the bat with the one we just have, like every season, everyone says they're going to play 4 or 5 at the back. And then slowly but surely, as you get towards game week 1, everyone plays 3-4-3.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I do think there's a chance more people stick with it this year, especially if, like, Robertson and Trent coming at 7. I don't think that. I'm not convinced that's likely. But if they come in at 7, then yeah, it might be feasible to have that. But template-wise, I mean, honestly, I've been playing it 10 years. That's been talked about for 10 years. Like, it feels like that hasn't changed. Yeah, maybe people converge more, but then there's double the amount of people. So it's hard to not have the same team. And I think I'm pretty template player. Like, a lot of people say the way I play is boring. But I don't like picking based on what other people do. Like, if I've got the players that everyone else has got, well, so what? I'll just go for it. Like, I just pick the ones I want. And if there is someone different, perfect. But yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to not have a player that everyone's got. Like, it's very rare you're going to get like a 0.1% player because, like you say, the info is all out there. And as soon as they do anything, everyone's writing an article about them. Everyone's doing a video.
Chris Meffam.
What? You're saying that Chris Meffam...
I bought Chris Meffam at 0.01%.
Ownership.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you?
I got 2 points from him in 2 games.
That's the problem. Game. That is the problem. It's such a risk.
Tell me, because you had an interesting story from your blank game week as well, didn't you? With Harry Maguire.
Oh, yeah, that was a nightmare. Yeah, so I don't always do it every week because it's on a Saturday mostly, but sometimes I do like a deadline stream. So I stream about half an hour before the deadline. Yeah. When everyone's panicking over captains, fake news and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. And so it must have been around the blanks and stuff. And I can't remember what other transfer I'd made now, but I wanted to take. I had Schindler, who was going to play for Huddersfield
at West Ham,
but obviously Huddersfield rubbish. Schindler probably not going to get me any points. I thought it's a blank game week. I like having the players that I want to have for those. So I took a -4 to get rid of him for Maguire, thinking Maguire a bit of goal threat, potential for a clean sheet.
Yep.
And then the team sheets came out, and Maguire was playing. Schindler was just not in the squad. I think he got injured, even though he played like every week. Just this 1 week got injured. So I was like, celebration, yeah, happy days.
Yeah.
And then Maguire got a red card within the first 2 minutes. So like straight away, people were tweeting.
Welcome to FPL.
Yeah, I had my arms in the air celebrating the Schindler goal. I thought, what? Obviously that's just luck, the fact that he wasn't in the squad. But what a great call. And then I watched the game. And it's just like you just have to laugh at that. Like I don't tend to get annoyed. Like it's just one of those things. And you knew it was coming as soon as he started chasing him. We took him out. He's like, right, that's a red card.
Yeah,
he's out.
Yeah, we're very much in the camp of laugh at ourselves when these things happen. Deanie,
which is regular.
Deanie. Did you have Deanie for his red card as well?
No,
obviously a lot of the community did. I did. You obviously didn't, Suj.
Luca Dean's red card.
Luca Dean's red card. Yeah.
Yeah, never had
in
Luca
the same
Dean.
week, didn't I? I think. Didn't I have someone else get sent off as well, Suj? I can't remember.
No, but you had Knockout.
Oh yeah, Knockout got sent off for Brighton. Fucking hell, yeah, what a joke. I mean, that Brighton double game week. What did you do that week, Andy?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've forgotten the whole last season. I think I went with Duffy and Ryan, I want to say.
Nice.
Because I was as good as everyone else. But I think I ended up with just Duffy for the next. No, I think I went Duffy and Dunk. Yeah, I didn't go for Ryan. I went Duffy and Dunk. And my plan, that was another mistake, trying to overthink. I had who was it for Southampton? Valerie. But then someone on my stream said, you know that Laporte's going to go up tonight. And I didn't have him in my team. I wanted him for the next week and I wouldn't be able to afford him. So I was like, oh, thanks for pointing that out. And I went for Bednarak instead of Valerie. Then Valerie didn't play, so it looked like another good call. But I ended up getting Koscielny instead of Laporte the next week for Dunk. Dunk got a clean sheet. Koscielny did nothing. And then Laporte went on to smash it for the rest of the season. So, yeah, these little calls, like you say, little calls. And
makes a big difference over a season.
Where did you finish, Andy?
I got it here, actually. I finished 12,731.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What was you expecting to say?
To be fair,
he's a veteran,
I was going to say,
why
does everyone who comes on always finish higher than me? But then I finished so shit that there's the population of London finished above me in FPL.
We've recorded 22 podcasts with 20 guests, I think, and every single one of them finished above you, mate.
Yeah,
but
right.
The beautiful thing is, there's always next year, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He said that last fucking year.
Yeah, and there's always next. That's one of the things I do like about FPL. Like every week's a fresh week, right? You start again, and what happened the previous week has literally no impact on what's going to happen the following week. Fixtures change, form changes, injury changes. You could go from a 20-point game week to a 100-point game week without doing anything.
Yeah, and I think actually sometimes people forget that. Like a lot of times people focus way too much on what's just happened.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you brought a player in because they were playing Fulham at home who've just conceded 4 goals a game and yeah, they blank, but that can happen next game. You know, like I think people forget they bring players in for a reason. You just don't bring them in for 1 week. You bring them in for like 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes shit happens and, you know, it just doesn't happen for you in a given game week. So yeah, I think I try and forget about bad game weeks. I try and just switch off and just think, you know, that I've got. It's not like you've got a wild card every week. You just got to put up with it, right? It's just when it goes wrong for like 4, 5, 6, 7 game weeks in a row, it gets tough to recover then because it just feels like I find if I make bad decisions, I find it harder to make the good decisions. That makes sense. It's like momentum almost.
Yeah.
If I make good decisions, I feel like every decision I'm going to make for the next week will be good too, even though it doesn't work out like that, of course.
Nah.
I just find it easier to be decisive when it's going well.
You know, it's interesting. Where we work, we've got someone that comes in to do training at work with us, sales training and all that kind of stuff. She's a psychologist by training, by profession, and she's statistically. If some people make decisions, crack it open. Some people make decisions based on gut, and they're literally emotions and gut feel. And a lot of people make decisions based on facts and information and all the rest of that kind of stuff. They're slow to make decisions. Some people are fast based on, I feel this. There is statistically proven 87% chance of making the right choice with gut. And it's like 91% if you use statistics and data. The margin between people that make gut-based decisions and head-based decisions is actually so small that it's really interesting how people get to decisions in a different way. Like when you're talking about momentum, you feel in a good mood if one decision goes well, so you're going with your gut a little bit more. Statistically, you're just as likely to get it right if you use your head and data anyway. So just do what the fuck you want to do, I think is the
that's really interesting actually, because especially like in FPL, because you know, I find like the one thing, it's not really a downside, but with FPL, it's like a cycle. I can tell you right now what's going to happen next season with like comments on social media and stuff. And one of them will be next year at game week 38, people will start tweeting, I'm going to go with my gut more next year. or I'm going to be stats based next year, or I'm going to do whatever worked this year that I didn't do next year. So it's interesting that it doesn't actually matter if they go with their gut or not.
No, over the long haul, I think it averages itself out.
Over like 38 weeks, I suppose.
Do yourself a favour. When you finish this podcast, tweet that shit out.
I'll tweet it.
That's the most intelligent thing you've ever said.
No. I've said plenty of intelligent stuff in my time.
Do tweet that.
I will. Listen, so one of the things that makes up a big part of our show week in, week out is Twitter questions that come in from the community.
Yeah.
And today we've got you with us as well. James put his regular tweet out. And we didn't get the 600 million questions that normally come in because a fair few.
He gets 60 a minute on his streams.
Yeah, that's
basically.
true. Like when I watch your streams,
which one's paid for a question? Better read that one.
Yeah, I'm so confused with we're YouTube novices, truth be told, and with the streaming and the way that the stuff's coming on, it's like. You need ADHD to be able to keep up with what's going on the left side, right side, all the rest of it.
Yeah, like people don't like. Some people that don't like it now because there's just too many questions. Like when I first started, I had like maybe 50 people watching, and you could answer every question.
Yeah.
Now you just have to forget about answering every question.
Yeah, it's the same with the show, and I actually feel bad because people go to the effort of asking in a question. There was a point where we jumped from like maybe 20 questions per show to like people are sending in 40 or 50, and now you have to cut people out. But then you also get to that point where people ask very repetitive questions, and you're like, you know what, that question's so fucking unhelpful. Like, who's going to play for Man City? I'm like, I don't have a crystal ball.
No,
why are you asking me this? And I don't mean to be rude to people. It's like, you know what? You've got to manage your own team and you've got to use the data out there. But we don't have access to any information that you don't have. Although I did find out that Granit Xhaka, from an informant, has been offered a lot of money by Inter Milan. You heard it here first.
Really?
And I can't tell you about my informant. But there you go. We don't have access to the other information.
If they can get Pep's team news as well next season.
You know what I'm going to laugh about? We're recording this Saturday. The pod's going out Tuesday. I'm going to laugh on Monday when it's announced that Granit Xhaka's joined Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. I don't know. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who fits kitchens, who fitted a kitchen in Granit Xhaka's house, who knows a guy who might have heard that he's moving to Inter Milan.
So clearly 100% reliable.
There you go. It came from Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka's mouth said that Inter Milan have offered him a lot of money.
Chinese whispers, isn't it?
It's
like the dickhead at 150. Oh, no, he's definitely not playing. Oh, no. He wasn't at the Man United hotel last night. But his wife's all that shit. Yeah.
To be fair though, if that's the way you have got that info, I think that qualifies you for an in-the-know account on Twitter.
That's I might set one up.
Yeah.
Planet FPL Express or whatever I call it. Ex Planet FPL employee. One of these.
Does your guy give you the source? Does he follow you on Twitter?
He's not on Twitter.
Well, fucking tweet it out.
I actually had sorry, just before you get on the questions, like I won't grab it now, but I've got a team sheet behind me, an Everton team sheet that's signed by Baines and Coleman.
We know this from your GT.
Getting to know you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I won't repeat
it. Do it.
Like, this is like in the know. So one of the guys that follows me is a journalist. So he doesn't always do Premier League games every week, but he does often do them, especially like Burnley and stuff like that. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was towards the end of the season. I wanted Baines in. Don't know why, to be honest. But I wanted him in. I just didn't know if he was going to start. So this guy messaged me. He said, I've seen the team sheet. He's on it. He's starting. So I make the transfer. Team sheet comes out. He's not on it. So I've got no problem with that. Like the guy, I know the guy. He wouldn't try and purposely screw me over. He's like, yeah, exactly. So he's messaging me. He's like, I promise you, he was on the team sheet. That something must have happened. They must have changed it. I saw it on the media guys or the marketing guys, whoever create the graphics. He said, I'm going to get a screenshot. You're going to see that he was on there, and he got me one. He showed me the screenshot from what happened. So I don't know. Maybe. The manager changed their mind and took him out. But then because of that, he got the team sheet and got it signed by Baines and Coleman and sent it to me. So yes, I didn't get the points that week, but I got a nice momentum. And because I like stuff like that for FPL. That kind of makes the bad decision good.
Yeah, sure.
The moral of the story is, didn't Baines smash it out for you the following week?
He did, 12 points.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely legend.
Nice.
So it worked out all right in the end. But yeah, it was nice to get that. But like, in the know, you take what info you get and you just hope it's right most of the time.
Yeah, listen, on a serious, when people are releasing information and stuff, there's a couple of accounts going around now that I'm sure are just trying to stitch people up all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, know who you trust and know who you don't, and know that for the people like myself and you and Andy and other creators, we're not ITK. We don't know. You can say, "Oh, what's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
opinion on Spurs, James?" But I don't know what the team's going to be. I'm not picking it.
Nah.
I only give an opinion.
Not yet. But you do hear about these football managers that weren't professional footballers themselves, but they do then make it in the game. James is going to be one of them.
There's certain
You
ones
heard
you
it
do
first.
know, like your guy at West Ham, ex-West Ham United employee.
XWHU employee or something.
He tweeted the fixtures out before they were announced.
Did
It
he?
was in yours, yeah.
Yeah.
He said these are like the first 4 or 5 fixtures. He obviously knows all the time.
Yeah.
So there are 1 or 2 from certain clubs, but you've got to know who you can trust.
That's true. It is indeed. Are we going to do some of these Twitter questions?
Are you asking me or Andy?
It wasn't even a question, let's be honest
All right,
with
let's
you,
fucking
because
do
we've
it.
got to do them.
Let's do it.
So we put the tweet out to get some Twitter questions, and we had quite a lot of FPL related Twitter questions as well, which I just don't think we can answer. Like, well, why are you asking me about game week 1 players when I don't even know what they're going to cost? So we'll answer some of the other ones.
So FPL Chef asked, what do you
Yeah.
dunk your biscuits in?
Now let's start with him. Yeah,
Let's do that.
It's FPL Chef at Real FPL Chef.
We know
What's
it
your
is.
favourite biscuit to dunk? And I think he's very, very specific about dunking the biscuit. Do you dunk biscuits in tea?
Yeah, standard.
I don't.
To be honest, whatever's there is getting dunked.
That's a different show.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. We're not even gonna talk about what you dip in your tea. Andy, go on. Have you got an answer to this?
I don't, but only because I don't drink tea.
Oh,
Just don't
coffee?
drink it.
Uh,
Nope.
No hot
Hate
drinks?
No. Never really got into it. Well, when
And that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us.
I know, I can't. I mean,
what do you
I probably-
dip in your Disaronno?
Coke. No, I like I don't even know. I feel like I would probably go rich tea, but I don't know if that's a good dunker or not. I just
Not
don't know. I just
bad.
don't-
Not too crumbly. I love cookies. Do you know that? Of all the biscuits, like a chocolate chip cookie or a cookie with nuts or something like that. They're not great dunkers always, but they're always chunky and tasty. So let's go cookies.
Best dunkers, probably, it's bog standard as well, custard cream, mate.
Custard cream.
Not bourbon. I feel like
Bourbon's
bourbon's
right, but it's chocolate, isn't it? So then you end up with a mocha instead of a coffee, and it's all confusing.
The worst
What
bit
to-
is when you
are
dunk.
drinking,
when
or are you eating? What are you doing?
You dunk a biscuit in and a bit breaks off, and you go, "Oh
Yeah.
fuck!" And it's obviously in the bottom of your drink shot.
Yeah,
And 15 minutes later, you've forgotten that happened.
yeah. This question's coming in from at Cobbler FPL, right? FPL Cobbler. Don't know if anything to do with fixing shoes or not, or maybe
probably a Northampton fan, yeah.
There we go. I know the answer to this question. If it was which player from the 2000s Premier League season would you have loved to play FPL in? But this question is, what 90s Premier League season would you have loved to play? Which player from the 90s would you have loved to have? in your
I feel like my answer is so cliche.
Oh,
and like
sorry.
everyone pick-
My
Yeah, from the
confu-
90s, right?
This question's confusing as hell. It's which 90s season would you
Yeah.
have wanted to play FPL in?
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
was only
Jesus.
born, I was too little to remember, to be honest. So let's just say which 90s player. And you can pick a season if you want to.
That's how I took it as well. So we both
Yeah.
read it wrong.
There we go.
I mean, I feel like this is so cliche, but Matt Letizia, I would. Because like the one thing is getting FPL points. When you get flair FPL points, when you get the you don't get any extra points for the way a goal is scored, but it feels better when you get someone like Letizia smashing it from outside the box every other week. So I think someone like him, obviously, there's probably better players that would have scored more points, but you'd be pretty happy because obviously one of the big things about FPL is you watch games you don't want to watch
Yeah.
a lot of the time, but you want to watch Matt Letizia.
Oh, he was
So
a
I
class
think-
player. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about him as a pundit so much though. It doesn't really.
Shearer would have. I mean, Shearer strings to mind, obviously, because he was
Yeah.
top goal scorer. So many, it would have been expensive, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He'd be a 30 million, wouldn't he?
I think
Yeah.
at least, yeah. Was it Van Persie went to 13 one year? I think.
I think he went to 40. I got a feeling
I
he went
think
to-
Shearer would have been more.
Yeah, they haven't done that very often. Gone that high. You have to be pretty special. Yeah, I think Shearer would have probably got there. Just so consistent as well,
Yeah.
which helps.
Do you think just while we're on that Salah could go that high?
I don't think so. I don't think they can do it now because they didn't do it when he scored 300 points.
Yeah.
So
true.
if he scored less, how can they put him up? But obviously we don't know exactly how they do it. But consistency is one thing. You get 250 points twice in a season. I don't think anyone's ever done that.
They might look at it from the perspective, though, that obviously Salah hasn't got more points, but his team has. And they're obviously
Mane was close behind.
Yeah.
It's a tough one because because 13, I feel like enough people last year took the kind of decision to go without him. So I feel like that's already enough to put people off. I think 14 makes it that you would wait and see, and it would put too many people off. So I think 13 is probably okay.
I think they got that maybe spot on last year, I think.
Yeah. Because I went without him for some of the... I made a big mistake getting rid of him at one point. Towards the end of the season, I carried on with it. And, if he was 12 or 11, no chance. I would have just kept him. So I think they kind of nailed it with 13. I don't think they can go too much higher without just putting everyone off. That's bad in itself.
Yeah. I was just, whilst you were going through that, I was just pulling up my favourite West Ham player of all time stats, Julian Dix, defender. He 98 to 93 West Ham, 150 games, 30 goals, 29 goals. 94 to 99, 103 games, 21 goals. So that's a goal every 5 games from a defender. So 8 goals a season from a defender. I'm going to take that every time. And it happens to be my favourite player of all time. So what player from the 90s am I having? I'm having fucking Terminator. That's
Is that what you're going to call him?
Yeah. I'm just calling him Julian Dix.
The problem is all his goals,
well.
you had all the minuses for the goals conceded. Your man, you would concede. It's not like Robertson and Alexander Arnold now.
Yeah, and his disciplinary record wasn't as bad as you'd think looking at him.
No, we got booked most fucking weeks.
It wasn't that bad. He was a big cuddly teddy bear, really. He just wanted to play a bit of golf. But for me, Julian Dix all day long, goal scoring, penalty taking defender.
I think a few from that Newcastle team as well. I'm thinking like not the year that it might have been the year that they pushed United. Rob Lee had an unbelievable start one year, didn't he?
He came down to us afterwards.
Scored about 8 in the first 10 or something. Probably wouldn't have been priced too high. If players like that. So I know what you mean about. Go on.
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember. I'm sure he's 90s, Ian Hart, someone like that.
Around that, late 90s, early noughties, yeah.
Yeah, he took free kicks and stuff, so you love a bit of that. But yeah, that's a good shout with Shearer and Dix. I wasn't expecting to have Julian Dix when I come on this podcast.
No, Andy, you've got levels and they've been lowered here, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course, we're going to drag everyone down. Let's do it more. Okay, so we've got FPL Potter, at FPL_Potter. Stoke City, unsurprisingly. 2 questions. The first we'll disregard. Is Mason Holgate a serious consideration for next season? Nah. I suppose if
that's going to have gone way over Andy's head, bless him.
Okay, fair play. So if he's $1 million, you can have him.
On our United feature with Is My Cat playing, we ran through promising youngsters at United, and obviously Suj doesn't know the difference.
I was mixing
between
up my Masons.
Mason Holgate and Mason Greenwood.
Mixing up my Masons. The second part of this question, is Thierry Henry the best player ever to wear the number 13?
And that was from the next day's podcast.
Oh, when I was talking about...
and you didn't even remember.
No, I didn't even forget about it. What number were we talking about, though?
I was talking about Callum Wilson and why he wore number 13, and you just dived in and went,
yeah, I thought Henry wore 19.
Dickhead.
I saw that question and I thought he didn't wear 13, did he?
Yeah, I was confused. I knew he wore an odd number, Thierry Henry, for some reason.
Yeah, you mean an even number?
Yeah.
There you go. What did he wear again? Remind me.
It was 14 for Arsenal, 12 for France, if that helps.
Why was he 14?
13 in the middle. I don't know. It was an available shirt.
Ah, fair play. We've got a question here coming in for you, James.
Oh, exciting.
And asking about a player that I've never heard of, Lo Celso?
Oh, he's going to sign for Spurs, right?
Yeah, he's
Apparently
been linked.
so.
We don't buy footballers, so what's the question?
Well, how much is he going to be in FPL? So the answer is 0.
0. It won't be anything. Unless he joins like Man United or something.
Well, he's been linked like the other 80 players, so you never know.
New signings always overpriced anyway, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Especially flashy ones who cost a lot of money.
Where's he coming from? Where's he playing at the moment?
Betis, I think.
Real Betis.
We don't buy players. I don't believe nothing till he's in the shirt.
Nah.
Forget about it.
Andy, you follow United, right? You United fan? Yeah.
Yeah.
Openly admitting to it and happy to talk about it, or is it something that you want to keep hidden away and let's not talk about?
No.
You're happy about it. We're going to start a new YouTube show. It's just going to be Yuri. Let's talk United. I'm going to start the Twitter handle today.
I mean, no one can get ahead of Mark Goldbridge for that, right? So there's no point even trying.
No, we can.
I'm not like when it comes to transfer stuff, I don't even follow it.
No.
Yeah, 80 players, I think it's ridiculous. In social media age, just link everyone, get the clicks in, job done. So
The problem is, it's different for Suj, Andy, right? Because his team don't get clicks, right? So when they're linked with a player, it's genuine.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Man United have just been linked with Diop.
Confused.
I'm saying that United and Spurs, we get linked with everybody, right?
No, but we get linked with a lot of players because we waste our money throwing it around.
There is that.
It's just in a different price.
At least Sullivan stopped his special going like, we're going to spend 30 million on a striker this year.
No.
Oh, guess what? We're interested in your striker. How much? 40 million. You dickhead.
Is the injury prone?
They're not the shrewdest. I'll give them that. Yeah, for sure. We had the FPL Ipswich at FPL Ipswich coming on. You never know. There might be a time where we might need an Ipswich correspondent, and they've got the right Twitter handle for it, for sure. And this is me and James, but okay, so we need to have a wager for the next 2 FPL seasons. Yo, Matt Child, can you help me out here, please, mate? You two should have had a wager for next season's FPL. Do you mind passing my wallet that's on the table? Yeah. Whoever has the lowest rank has a forfeit. If Suj loses, he shaves his barnet and knocks about bald for the first 5 game weeks of the 2021 season. And if James loses, he wears a wig for 5 game weeks. Now, I'm going to reply in the tweet. I actually had the bald head for, 2005, 6 maybe. I've regularly had periods in my life where I've been a grade 1 all over. So it doesn't really necessarily feel like a forfeit.
This is a 0, fam.
There's a 0, yo. What are you, grade 2, Andy?
Yeah, well, not at the moment.
But generally is a grade 2 all over. And you are the witness on the show, yeah?
Yeah.
Talking about wages and forfeits. See this crisp pinky?
Belongs to me. Thank you very much.
50.
Cheers.
Lovely.
Well, it's ceremonial. He's got to put it on a frame and put it on a wall, and he's not allowed to spend it now. So in terms of betting on who finishes higher, we had a bet last season, and I just paid up. And me and James are going out on the piss after
double
this.
or quits next year?
No, we're just same again. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Control C, Control V.
What was the I can't remember now, the gap between you?
In terms of rank or points?
Rank.
I was about 730k by the end of the season. You were about 170 or something like that. Yeah, it was probably it was we figured it out to about 100 points, 120 points, something like that. It was the equivalent of an assist a week, which is quite a lot. 40 assists over a season.
Big catch up needed next year for the week.
Yeah, tell me about it. And none of us are betting with you before you even start trying to steal our money.
In response to FPL Ipswich, the bet's off. Suj can only afford 50 quid, and that's enough. He doesn't need it.
Look, I'd rather shave my head than have to give you 50 quid. Trust me, I'd rather do that.
Do you want to do that as a bet then?
No, I just don't. It's not a forfeit. He said do a forfeit. So if you can come up with ideas on forfeits, I'll take them. But shaving my head doesn't seem particularly interesting. You wearing a wig also doesn't seem particularly,
I feel like it was
I
insulting.
think it depends on the wig.
It does. Wigs are very itchy. I just don't think you could do it.
I don't care what the bet is. I ain't wearing no red and white shirt. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, that would be interesting. Can you imagine that?
No, fuck them all. No, I'm not. It's not happening. You can just have your 50 quid bet. Yeah, I don't want it. Yeah.
Nah. That's red and white. I'm surprised they even wanted it.
I'll keep that. It's got the Queen on it.
Yeah, cool. We got at FPL Addict, who's our it's at FI_FPL Addict because he does the Football Index stuff as well. He asked, how do you switch off or recharge ready for the new FPL season? So let's aim that question at you, Andy, because we've decided to just do 30 podcasts to switch off and recharge. Stupid as hell.
Yeah, fair play for doing that. 30 days. Oh, sorry, one every day is tough. Yeah, I mean, for me, because I like do YouTube stuff, just not doing it is enough to kind of recharge almost. The fact I can come home, not worrying about what I'm recording, what I'm streaming, I can just sit down in front of the TV and just kind of switch off. Like I don't obviously I made a joke that everyone kind of goes on Twitter to say they're signing off Twitter. I just stopped using it as much. Yeah. Obviously that's picked up now. The fixtures are out. People are starting to get more interested again. Same for me. But I actually find it now I do YouTube stuff. I find it way easier to switch off, especially like international break. I love them. I love international break. It's 2 weeks off doing stuff. And if I want to do some stuff, I've got a bit of time. There ain't that rush to get it out by Monday, Tuesday, or whatever. See, I don't really do anything different. I don't have to do the FPL stuff, and for me, that's enough.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like an enforced break.
You probably use Twitter as much in that break as I do. Normally, I log in once every 3 days at best, 3 or 4 days, and I end up with a ton of notifications. People tag me in all sorts of stupid shit of all the dumb stuff that I do and say sometimes, and I don't even know about it for 4 days. I'm like, there's a whole conversation about me happening somewhere, but I couldn't care
I
less
wish
if
I
it
could
was
do
on
that.
Twitter.
Like I've weaned myself off Facebook, but Twitter is a tough one.
Yeah.
I find it tough not to check on that. But yeah, summer easy, love it. Enforced break, happy days.
Yeah, international break's actually almost easier because I know from experience that inevitably what you think you're going to do at the start of the international break, if you're trying to be forward planning and whatever, injuries and all the rest of it always cocks it up. So there's no point in trying to plan pre-international break because there's so many games and things that can happen that actually inevitably always do happen.
Yeah, and like it's 2 weeks off. Like if you start thinking about it, it's good to have a rough plan, but to spend 13 days mulling over your transfer every single day, you're just gonna give yourself a headache, I find. So I kind of switch off most of the time unless if I'm gonna make a video, I'll do a bit of research or whatever. But I don't worry about my transfers, and I don't really chase price rises or anything either. So I'm not focused on that. I just switch off, don't think about it.
Yeah,
I hate international breaks.
You hate them.
Yeah,
Tell us why.
Well, because you get into the season, for FPL it's fine. I'm with Andy with that. You get into the season, it's like it's 4 games gone. Oh, we're breaking now because England's got to play some two-bar country in a 5-team group where the top 2 go through. Even we can't fucking piss that up. It just feels pointless.
Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah, time. Yeah, I think I could probably wait a few more weeks till the first one. It seems like
I would have honestly, I would have the season start a bit later, end a bit earlier, not have international breaks, and I'd have all the qualifiers in a month at the end of the season.
Yeah, but if the problem is now, like with football, it's a lot of it's just money, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, it's never going to happen.
It's not a lot of it, Andy. It's all of it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And have you got one kid? Is it?
Yeah.
How old?
He is 10 now.
Okay, so you're at 10, mine is 7 and 5. Yours is like a
7
year
months.
coming up to, not even. So I think that's a help as well. Like my kids couldn't care less. Like I drag them down to the London Stadium week in, week out. But
poor souls.
Yeah, when you spend time with them, they couldn't care less about FPL. You have to kind of switch off from it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And he helps with that. He actually played last year for a bit when he reminded me to check his team. Pogba was straight in.
One of our followers, FPL Red Eagle. I think his son was. He'll correct me.
Kicking his ass out.
Yeah, man, he was like top 2K or something.
I dread that day. I play video games and I dread the day. Like he plays a lot of Fortnite. I've tried playing that. I can't keep up with it. I'm already at that stage where he's beating me at stuff, and I dread the day he beats me at FPL.
Has he met Mesut Ozil yet?
No.
Yeah, the apprentice becomes the master.
Ozil doesn't leave his house these days. He's too busy streaming.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what we're talking about.
Fortnite, you probably play him on Fortnite.
Exactly.
Shoot him in the leg, he'll go down. Sean Murphy at Sean M1960 on Twitter. What are we likely to see first? The change to BPS or chips?
Well, I think I don't think we'll see a big change in chips again. I think at most they'll add more, if you count that as a change. Bonus. What do you two think of the bonus system?
It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It is.
I don't lose sleep over it, to be honest, like others do.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same.
It's the transparency that annoys me, but I can't change it, so get on with it.
I think
it's quite transparent though.
I know, but I would like to see, for example, if they're going to do it live, like you can see it during the game. That's what's annoying.
Yeah. The
game will finish, and then an hour later, it's changed because of something. I'd like to see every player listed as well. Like, if you're going to do it properly. Tell me why they're getting those points during the game. It's 2019. You can publish that shit quite easy.
It's in the rules though.
What's that?
The BPS.
It's exactly why they get the points.
Oh, yeah.
You can
but I mean, in terms of during the game, I would like to know. Okay, right, you're on 22 BPS. Why are you on 22 BPS?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, a little drop down or something.
Yeah,
it's easy done, isn't it?
It would be interesting, but it's never going to be real time because you talk
and
about.
And to be honest,
how
in the game as well.
Now.
Look at all the data and now you obviously work with Scout plenty enough. all the data's there and that. Why can't we have it?
Well, the game's getting faster in terms of how quickly points are updated, refreshed, leagues are updated and stuff. Maybe it's something that can come down the line, but I don't think you'll ever get around shit changing an hour after the final whistle in terms of BPS and what have you.
Let me tell you, I got a guy in this office, and you know that guy, who could fucking organise this for the
Yeah, we've
official
got some
account
techie geeks
and make
around
it
there that can
live
help.
really quick.
Let's see if we
I
can.
don't know, because the reason it changes is because the negative stuff they take off after the game. I don't know why that's done, because I think that stuff is recorded real time. So I don't know why they do it like that. It's weird.
It is a little bit weird.
But yeah, I don't think that if it changes, like most people seem annoyed about the bonus these days because Salah doesn't do well in it, and for one player, I'm not bothered whether they change it or not. To be honest, I think you're more likely to see chips change or get added than the bonus system.
Yeah. Chips do add a little bit of interest into the game, a little bit more, that you can make some big changes and big gains. It keeps it interesting. So even if you're quite far behind, if you've still got all your chips in hand, you feel like you can pull it out of the bag. 2 or 3 100-point game weeks, and suddenly you're back in the mix. So yeah. Fantasian FPL, Ian, got a question here.
Top boy.
Would you rather have no restriction on the number of players from any team, or no position restriction aside from one player from each position in your squad and starting 11?
We're just getting 11 defenders then, are we?
Well, you could potentially get 11 defenders. No, you need one midfielder and one attacker.
Yeah, one mid, one striker.
Yeah, and then have 10 defenders, or however many your squad's building up.
So you could
to.
have 8 defenders in theory.
Why 8?
Yeah.
One
One
goalkeeper, one
goalkeeper.
midfielder, one forward.
Yeah, but you could have your subs as well, so you'd have back up to 11. Yeah, no restriction on position or no restriction on teams.
To be honest,
I think I'd rather have. So the thing with the restriction from the teams is that the price dictates that, right? You're never going to have 15 City because you can't afford 15 City.
You spoke when you went on the Amigos, Andy, about the idea of being able to decide whether someone was a midfielder or a forward.
Yeah.
How would that work? Because then surely wouldn't you choose your player to play in midfield because there's more capability of points, no?
So I can't remember exactly how it works, but basically I don't know if it's still running, there's a draft game called Dugout. And so they'd have someone like Sterling as a midfielder or a forward. So you'd have to, I can't remember exactly how you have to choose your squad. But if you had him in your team, you could play 3-5-2 and have him as a midfielder, or 3-4-3 or whatever, and play him as a forward. And obviously if it was FPL, then if he was a forward, he'd get more bonus, but less points per goal, etc., etc. So they could do that as a way to incorporate. I mean, FPL are never going to do that because it's just too complicated. And the beauty of their games is simple. And I think, Suj, you're right. Like you basically came to the same conclusion I did. It'd just be too expensive to have all Man City or all Liverpool. So you'd have to go. Yeah. And how many times have you said to yourself, I really wish I could have 5 strikers, or I really wish I could have 7 midfielders? Happens all the time every year.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely no.
You could have 11 Zahas, couldn't you, in theory? You could live with that, couldn't you?
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. Quite possibly. We got a question coming in from Mark Dorney, and I had to read the question twice. He's got 2 parts to the question, and Andy, jump in whenever you want to. James, what Spurs player will you have in week 1, if any?
No one.
To be honest, the way it's going, Andy's probably right.
No one.
Yeah, because of I think there's going to be a real problem for fitting in Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. The fixtures have kind of confirmed it, haven't it? You've got to go with the City, Liverpool guys. I think if Kane was 11.5, I 100% would find a way, but I can't see that happening. He would still be the one. It would be price relevant, but unless something shocking would happen, like when we discussed with Ricky on yesterday's pod, like if Vertonghen's suddenly coming at 5 million, then you start going, oh, okay, to sort of weigh out what the Liverpool players might be and that. But I think Andy's probably right. At the moment, it's probably none.
Yeah.
For basically the same reasons. Like obviously that Villa game looks great, but you're not just going to look at the first game. And yeah, like if I know, I feel like Kane, I would struggle to want to, even though he still scored quite a few goals last year, but I don't know, he just never looked on it. And like if you're going to pay 12 million for him, for basically Villa at home, but you could just captain a Liverpool player at Norwich.
Yes, it's true.
And then Spurs fixtures are actually, for the first 4, I think they're kind of tough, or at least
It's the away fixtures that are tough. Their home fixtures are solid. It's the away ones.
The home fixtures are great. And we don't play Chelsea till 21st December. Every home game, like we'd be disappointed to not win any of them up to that period.
I think the captaining Harry Kane for the home fixtures is really tempting for me at the moment. But it depends what else do I have to rotate with.
No, but you look at it. So Liverpool at home to Norwich game week 1, and then they're at home to Arsenal game week 3. Well, big deal. Game week 5, they're home to Newcastle. Are you actually going to captain Kane over say a Mane or a Salah if you go that way?
Yeah,
I don't know the answer. So
I really think Kane is from like the big. Obviously, there's loads of prices to consider, but Kane from like a big gun perspective is really hard to price because he's been so consistent. Obviously, he's not going to match Salah, I don't think. He'd have to have an unreal season as a forward to beat Salah, but he's been so consistent, but Salah smashes him now. So he's 12.5. He has to have a price reduction this year. I think there's no question about that. 12.5 is going to be too much. I think he's going to be 12, though, and that's just
right. It's the tipping point. 11.5, I would find a way. I would make sacrifices and get him in.
And that is why, like, I think people don't realise how the pricing just dictates everything. Like 0.5 lower, and suddenly, if he's 11.5 or even 11, it's very hard to resist him then, and that's why you got to get it right. So he's going to be 12, and it's going to put most people off, I think, because you're just going to, by the time you try and fit, maybe 4 or 5 Man City Liverpool players in, those Spurs players would have to be like Son. I mean, you're looking at midfield. I think Son, Ali probably needs a price reduction slightly.
He will.
But Son's going to be quite expensive still. So I think Kane's going to be
Son's going to be in excess of 9 now.
The thing with Salah is obviously 21 clean sheets and 22 goals. That's an extra point for every goal, an extra point for every clean sheet. That's 43 points on Harry Kane before you're talking about anything else.
Kane will get the bonuses and Salah
Kane
won't,
will get some BPS, sure, but 43 points. That's if Kane's had a full season. I don't know what Kane's highest points haul in any given season is, but
James is going to have a look.
180, 190, something like that, maybe, quite possibly. That's the difference between that and Salah's 230 something last season is the clean sheets and the extra point for every goal.
I think Kane got 161 last year and was his lowest. That I do know.
Yeah.
I think he's got over 200 points 3 seasons in a row. Like he's smash it. Like you could price him at 11, 10 and a half, and then suddenly you think, well, actually, could I go without Salah? But if he absolutely smashes it at 10 and a half, he then becomes too easy to buy. So
I think the game needs to do something to try and get people to break away from Liverpool and City as much as they can, and lowering the price of the other assets might make it quite interesting, maybe.
Kane's previous scores 217, 224, 211, 191.
It's a 200-point man.
If you're paying 13 million for 250 points in Salah, he's got to be less. 11.5, I really think he could. Well, I think he's going to be 12, but I think they can make a justification for 11.5.
I mean, in that 2016-17 season, when we finished second to Chelsea, 29 goals, 7 assists. And he was injured for a little period as well. At 29 goals and 7 assists was in 2,500 minutes. It's a fucking joke. He finished that season at 11.9. I mean, if he can get near that again with more games, I mean, that's more than an attacking return per game. He's capable, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, he's definitely capable. I feel like I can't remember the last time I saw him have like a really good game.
I think this pre-season will really help him, Andy.
He's injury prone, struggling, getting rushed back sometimes, maybe.
He's barely had a break since he broke in the team.
Yeah.
I'm going back 4 or 5 years. Barely had a break.
Well, that's another reason it's going to put me off him, I think. Let's just see how he goes at the start.
Fair play. Mark Dorney, when he put this question out on Twitter, had a question for you and then a question for me, which I'm going to read and then respond to. Will you play properly rather than try and think outside the box next season, Suj, when you don't need to? You have decent analysis but never follow it. In the 30 and 30, your chat's been very insightful. I'm not trying to be offensive. So just to clarify a couple of things.
Offended?
No, I'm not offended. I am trying. I am trying, Mark. I promise you. I don't want to be behind this fucker in the league or anything. I am trying. I don't necessarily think I try to be outside the box, but I suppose I don't care about football isn't my life. I don't care if I do
selling this podcast, didn't you?
And the other thing I was thinking is, like, I don't know any time where my chat has been insightful. So then I clicked into Mark's profile and I realised it says here Spurs fan. And then I realised obviously he's got no fucking sense whatsoever. And that's why he thinks that my chat's insightful because he's a Spurs fan. So there we go.
I must admit, I remember one of the podcasts last season. I think, I can't remember if it was around wildcard time or what. and there was chat about City players, and you're like, I'm not going for Sterling or Aguero. I don't, you know, people make their own decisions. Of course, it's their own team. But I did like kind of think, what are you talking about?
I think that was pre-season. That was pre-season, and I did end up starting the season with Aguero.
I think this was around
the wild card.
The double 25, maybe. No, actually, I think Andy's right. I think it was around the wild card, 34.
I think you were going to go double defence or something. I don't know if you went.
I went with Laporte. I only had single defence. I had Laporte.
I mean, to be fair, Laporte was a great decision in the end.
Yeah, but my overall rank says that all of my other decisions were shite. Right, should we finish on one last question? Actually, Andy, do you have the questions in front of you? Was there any questions that you picked out that you thought, you know what, that's an interesting question that we haven't answered?
I basically wrote them all down and just had a quick think about them just in case they come on. It was like, whichever one you want.
Let's talk about Utley TC's idea for next season. I'll be interested in your thoughts. So we did a game. Yeah, we did a game last year, Last Man Standing, which got tougher and tougher as the season went on. We didn't bet money on it, sadly.
No, because you won.
We should have. 50 quid.
It was shit. So we need to come up with a better idea, and I think Tom's nailed it.
Tom's come up with a North v South, because the guys who got the assist do the All England 11, and there's also did a differential 11. People trying to mix it up a little bit. Now this one's quite interesting. North v South. Toss a coin. A team using only players from northern teams, and the others only from southern teams. Midland teams equal northern bracket. Maybe you can only make. You can only each make transfers using your wildcards, so that it's not a weekly ball ache. I don't mind a weekly. So second team.
No, let's do it, Matt. We need you.
Now,
I feel like whoever gets North is kind of onto a winner.
Yeah, well, you've got City and Liverpool there.
I will say right now, forget the coin toss. I'll have the South.
Oh, interesting. Now, if we're going to do it properly. My original twist on it, Andy, was split City and Liverpool and then divide the rest. But James is right. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
We'll work out 10 most northern clubs, 10 most southern.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And we'll do it. And since you lose at everything, Matt Child's got the
Did
coin.
I lose at Last Man Standing?
No.
Oh, okay. Fine. Just checking that.
It was shit.
Go on.
Cool, what do you want? You got to call it.
Oh, before he tosses it.
Yeah, this
We've
is
got
a
Matt Child tossing it.
Always heads.
Heads. Andy's called it for me. Heads.
Tails never fails. What is it, Matt?
Heads. Oh, I shall let you know my decision by the next podcast.
I'll have the South. I'm more than happy with that.
I might stitch you up with the North.
Either way.
You think so?
Yeah.
No,
and what I like about Tom's suggestion is with your free hit, you have to pick people from the opposite.
Oh, okay. That's also a good suggestion.
I like that.
A nice twist on the game.
Yeah.
North v South is happening.
If you're the South, when you free hit, you have to have all North.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm taking the North.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking.
My geography is awful. In my head, I'm trying to work out where places like Leicester are.
Probably North.
Leicester,
you'll probably be drawing a line around about
close.
Villa. So
very
Leicester will
close.
be up in the north. You got City United.
We've got 5 London clubs.
Liverpool,
Everton.
Brighton, Southampton,
forget it. This
Bournemouth.
is. I feel like.
I might get Leicester. I might sneak Leicester.
I have the superior teams, but I have the less superior knowledge, and I watch less games than James. So this might even itself out.
You're gonna, having Man City and Liverpool is great, but you've only obviously got a certain amount of budget, right? So,
yeah.
People like Southampton, Redmond, or someone like that could be smashing.
Exactly. I've just got Kane and Aubameyang up front. I'm going to rotating captains the whole season. Set. Forget. See ya.
I'm going to dust out. I'm going to be work. You know. I do a lot of accents on this show.
Yeah, none of
which
them
are all really shit. But they're actually, in my mind, they're really good. I'm going to be practicing Jon Snow from the north is coming, winter is coming, or whatever the fuck he says on Game of Thrones, because I'm from the north.
Something like that.
Yeah. James.
I'm having the South, done. Even if I'd have won the coin toss, I'd have picked the South.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
Just to make it difficult for yourself.
Kane,
interesting. There we go.
There is that, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Are we gonna? We've got a few other Twitter questions in there, but it's all around picking teams for game week 1, etc., etc., etc. And
so Andy said he'd respond to all of them.
He's going to reply on Twitter to everyone after his 4th Peroni because he's not drinking Heineken.
Yeah, I'm actually already done with the 3 I bought up.
Oh, there we go. Which feels like a nice time to wrap it up so you can get down to getting your ass kicked on Fortnite by your 10-year-old. And James is going to buy me beers in the pub with that 50 quid note that I just gave him from last season.
Oh, I see how this is work now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let me give you the money when we're going out.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. I've got my eyes on the prize. we're going to plan Planet FPL Live 2 soon, Andy. We'd
Lives
love
in
to get you.
fucking
I
Ireland.
know he's in Galway. If there's a way that Michael O'Leary can sort out your Ryanair and all the rest of it, make your way down to London, mate, because it'd be great to have you at the live show next time.
Yeah,
as well.
I honestly, this year is like made me really annoyed I don't live in London. There's always meetups, there's like always opportunities and stuff, and yeah, it's just a ball ache living over here sometimes. I love it, but yeah, it'd be nice if I could just fly over.
Go and get some fresh air, and you'll really
You know
appreciate
what?
it.
We should mention it now because we're bound not to on any of the
Tell
individual
me.
ones.
Do it.
Meet up with who got the assist.
Oh
July the
yeah,
13th.
that's true. July the 13th. Well, Andy's just said how upset he is that he's not in London and can't come
that's
to the
why
meetups. And
I
we're
thought-
about to announce a meetup that the Who Got the Assist boys are sorting out on July the 13th, which is a Saturday.
Marleybone somewhere.
Marleybone is Kitchen and Grill, Bar and Grill. Marleybone Bar and Grill, something along those lines. Go on Twitter, you'll find it because it's there. We're going to be there. I'm going to start early at 3 o'clock because I'll try and get back for the kids at some point.
You'll be finished by 4, won't you?
Yeah, roughly, give or take, 4:30.
In the morning.
So yeah, do try and come out to that. If you're interested in coming out to a social in London in Marylebone, then do tweet one of us and we'll ping you in the direction of the assist. There's no tickets or nothing like that. You just turn up and chat shit about FPL.
No, we only charge tickets for our shows.
Yeah, true. We gave away free beer with those tickets. Don't worry about that.
I think we gave away a bit too much.
There we go. Someone drank too much. So, Andy, listen, we want to say thank you for joining us today because it's been a while before. We should have done this earlier, to be honest. But, now we've got the down season and we've got the beers in hand. It's a good time to do it. Where can the listeners find you or what do you want to point them in the direction of? There's one that I may not.
Yeah, just search Let's Talk FPL on YouTube and Let's Talk _FPL on Twitter because someone's got my handle and I can't get off them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone's got Planet FPL as well, at Planet FPL.
Yeah, they've not been active.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
because
They've been inactive for about 8 years. Yeah.
I had a different handle and I thought I should switch. And I went around to do it and the guy had set up the account like 2 or 3 weeks before. And I don't even think it's someone trying to screw me over. I don't know who gets Let's Talk FPL? How's he found that?
Yeah.
He's basically tweeted a few tipsters on Twitter, had a go at them for a week and then never looked back in.
Disappeared again.
Someone's picked up because our original handle was the FPL
The
podcast.
FPL podcast.
Someone's picked it up and they got 28,000 followers.
Someone from Joe, that is, I think.
From
Yeah.
Joe.
Like Joe, joe.co.uk. I think it's someone
Website.
from there. Yeah.
They have a big network, but there you go. Anything else to add? Or we're going to wrap
thanks
up?
for having me
Nah,
on.
listen,
I'm sure
thank
we'll
you,
do it
mate.
again at some point. I'm hoping actually one of the things I want to do on YouTube next year is get more people on because it's usually a solo thing. So hopefully,
Yeah, for sure. We're around anytime.
We're in.
Reverse.
We're
Give
in.
us a chance to chat about football and we'll do it.
The only thing is records at like midnight.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
starts
Kids are
dancing
asleep
on
by then, mate.
tables.
Kids are
Shit
asleep
like
by
that.
then, so...
already once, never again. Well, maybe tonight, depending on. There's still like.
Oi,
nine-
oi. I bet he's going to stream tonight. Bug me out. Bug.
We're getting out to the pub after. We haven't been out for a while since the last Planet FPL Live ended. We left that place at about 10:30, give or take, and finished about 1:30 in my garden.
Yeah, with you
Still drinking.
We've holding a meat.
Oh, I had the meat cleaver in my hand, and Matt Child, who's our producer, I was threatened to chop his hand off.
That's
for
when
some
I knew
reason.
it was time to go home.
Yes, exactly. So that's how
That's
tonight,
not in the
mate.
garden though.
If you jump on live stream and it pops up on the notifications, we'll be jumping on for sure. But this is episode 18. We've got a whole bunch of content coming out, 19 through to 30 still. Do hit subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever else you're catching the show because 30 and 30 still got a long way to go. Anything else to add, James?
Mictavius Crystal Palace tomorrow.
Tomorrow, episode 19. But other than that, stay tuned. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.